the hell is this, you say? A guide on command helicopters? That's a joke, right, Troublmaker? That's a joke. Why would you make a guide on a unit that is completely useless? Why would you do that? And one that many people believe has no place in the game currently. Why would you do that, Troublmaker? So today we're going to talk about the command helicopter, its value, its not values, its weaknesses, and its strengths. And first we're going to talk about strengths. What to look for in a good command helicopter. Command helicopter, there's going to be two stats you're worried about. The first is going to be speed. You want the fastest helicopter you can get because this is a vehicle that is valued from being able to move anywhere on the map. So it's going to be the fastest, and it will be about 5 times faster than most commands already. Get the absolute fastest. The second stat you'll worry about is strength. Helicopters can be hit in air from AA and air superiority fighters. They can be hit on ground from artillery, bombers, and main attacks, and that makes them very, very vulnerable. So you want a very, very strong helicopter. It's worth paying that extra few bucks to get all that extra armor on your helicopter. Next up, we're looking at cost effectiveness, a topic that we talked about in the past, but we didn't really see if it panned out. That is, does the speed of the helicopter make it worth some extra points in our calculations? Test of values to see exactly how much faster the Puma is compared to your regular command vehicle. We'll look at Echo as being a long point because we'll be using it in comparison to something the helicopter would actually be using that is something far away. So let's go ahead and see. End time. Alright, the race is on. Command Jeep is on the go. Helicopter has finally lifted off. And let's see how much faster the helicopter will be. Well, so far still in the loss. Slightly picking up. Looks like it might just be starting to pass it now. This is at the hotel point, so at this point, just here, the Jeep is still clearly the faster vehicle, and so there's no numeric value gain for that. Now he starts passing him about a quarter of the way of the map, and he will hit with a slight lead. He will gain a total of, including a land, he's got a land. The Jeep is actually faster. Full on faster, the Jeep wins. Helicopters have no speed advantage at all. So that might have been disappointing to a few people, but it's not all that surprising. So helicopters have two basic purposes on the battlefield. The first is to get to obscure locations that are hard to defend. These are more often reinforcement points, and this will allow the transfer helicopter to escape very quickly if danger is present. Because they can escape very quickly and they don't have to travel on roads, they can also move to another point much faster than most command vehicles will be able to. Since they're also evading roads, it also means they're probably going to be evading the enemy, which is quite good. A second use for the transferred helicopter is for a flanking maneuver. If your opponent has an unclaimed reinforcement point, you can bring your command helicopter around, grab that reinforcement point, flood that area with new units, and hit with a flanking attack. It's really uncommon, but it can be quite effective. As a final note about helicopters, to close this out, helicopters are very, very vulnerable. And if you intend to use them in a more permanent basis, you should have some air superiority fighters patrolling around as they're moving. It becomes very, very easy for your opponent to pick them off. And if they get picked off, you will want to kill at least their air superiority fighter. Next week we'll be covering airborne infantry, which will be far more exciting because of how much more often they are used. And we'll be covering what they're used for, how to use them, and once again, weaknesses. So thank you guys for coming to Tactics and Strategies, And we'll be back next week, of course, with airborne infantry. See you guys next week.